Folks, I am afraid of this man's tongue today.
Oh, my God.
Wow. I'm not even going to try to best that, my brother.
What do you know?
You win.
I mean, with the red leather, yellow leather right there, I went all the way to the end of the game, baby. Just like that Chiefs game.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You went to an incredibly epic Chiefs game with the roar heard around the Midwest as a blocked kick ends the game with no time left. Have you ever seen anything like that in real life?
I could have. I was right there. I saw the really cool flyover. That was cool. I saw a lot of the game, man. Yeah. I saw a lot of, but
you tailgated with the best of them, right?
And we were just checking it out. I was thinking about red leather, yellow leather. I was getting focused for our podcast that we're here for today, and I was with my veteran Chiefs attendee.
No way.
I mean, he's not a chief. I'm just saying he's there all the time.
I thought you meant he was a veteran. I'm like, wow, this is like the Veterans game and blah, blah, blah.
This man knows what he's doing. He's had season tickets. He does, man, because this guy's got season tickets down low, and he's been in season tickets up in the box pretty regularly, like all the time for his job. So,
but if he really knew what he knew,
he knows the
would there be a tragic ending on this story?
Maybe, you know what? Maybe he's seen. Who knew that it could be the roar heard around the Midwest, like you said, the best. Who knew that it would bring a tear to Travis Kelce's eye?
Yes.
Yeah.
He just said that on his podcast.
Yeah. What we did is we went around and walked around trying to get a last beer, before the last call.
Right.
Or after the last call even. And
how do you do that?
I shouldn't even say any details about that because there's ATF stuff that could be involved and all that kind of thing. So we got back to our seats and there were two left on the end. Somebody else had also left early. Right?
I'm sure a few people did.
We were down. What were we down? Like, what was the score? I don't know. We were winning. Yeah, we were winning. Duh, right? No, we were losing. What happened? We were winning.
You were winning.
Before that, we were losing.
I think that the crowd started to empty out when it was apparent that the field goal that needed to be kicked to win the game was going to be a very easy one, literally around the same spot as they kick extra points from these days.
Yeah.
So a lot of people saying, you know what, let's beat the traffic. I don't want to sit here and watch this car crash in slow motion any longer. Let's just get on out of here.
My awareness was obviously compromised. I mean, I did know that we were going to lose. I knew that the kick was going in, but I was also with somebody that had a very heightened level awareness. I mean, this man, he knows that you don't bring the Tesla, you drive the Jeep. You know why?
Tell me about it.
Because you can't jump the curbs in the Tesla.
Ooh.
And jumping the curb is crucial to getting out of there early. You can save yourself an hour because you don't have to go around there. You see a gap, you just take it and jump over. I thought I was going to get to ride in a Tesla down there. That's never happened before. So he's an expert at getting out of the game. He knows we're going to lose the game or lose the game.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to lose the game, and they're kicking a field goal. Who's even blocked?
It's basically
an field goal this year. Yeah, it was not even far. Like, this is Denver. Their kicker is used to kicking with no air in the air and can kick field goals from like 70 yards. I know it's not McManus anymore, but it's probably like a same caliber kind of guy. So anyway, we came back. Other people had left their seats already. We're like, oh, let's just stand on the aisle. Let's do that. And then when we find out we're going to lose, we're like, 20 seconds left. He's like, let's go. I'm like, cool. So we start walking. As we get out the stairs, we walk across the level part and we start going up the second set of stairs and I'm like, I knew it was going to happen. I actually, you had that feeling, right? Like, when would you ever have that feeling? I mean, I felt some immediate guilt, like maybe we shouldn't walk out right now, but no, there's no way. Logic, logic tells you there's no way they're going to block the field goal. It doesn't happen like that. But then when you see the video, it doesn't happen like that either. The dude went to sleep or something, or he got like, restless leg syndrome, or he needed restless leg syndrome or something.
Yeah.
And he just got totally pancaked or whatever, man. That was remarkably
many hands
insane.
Had a chance at that pigskin on that play. The Chiefs haven't lost a game since last Christmas against said Broncos.
Yeah.
Okay? They keep finding ways to win. Even when some of their diehard fans count them out, they just keep on going.
This was also setting some other kind of record too, like some kind of 10-0 record. I don't know. I'd have to ask my sports savant assistant upstairs what it was, but it was something to do with either two-peats and 10-0 or 10-0. This has never happened.
Yeah.
Something that never happened after this thing that never happens.
Yeah.
But we did learn.
And you were there.
Yeah, I was there, guys. Red leather, yellow leather. What? Oh, in the mic at the game. You guys are here with us at Hangin
with the homeboys.
The date today is November 13th, 2025.
That's right.
We've had some time to mentally work ourselves into existence again. The election, took place last Tuesday. Sounds like everything is set in stone and everything's fallen into place, and we're learning what the new world will be like, and it's going to be glorious, guys. It's going to be a good world, right?
Sure.
I love the world, dude. That's the world is one of my favorite things.
Yes.
So, and that's why I like to talk about all these things that are real in the world. This real estate, that's what we're here for.
Come on.
We go through our sections. We've got home field advantage. We've got homeology, which is a little bit about math and science and tips for real estate. We've got full house, which sometimes talks about some design trends, and then a little bit of house party, which I might have already done with the red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah, that was quite the party.
So we'll see. There might be something else funny in the show. Do you think we should have anything funny in here today?
Oh, we will, whether you like it or not, or whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
We're just funny people.
We won't even try.
Nope,
so
don't have to.
All right, on this home field advantage. You were going to tell us about some way that you had an adventure.
Yeah.
My story is a little bit about a car. My story is kind of about failing, but also succeeding and getting out of the parking lot. But apparently yours is also equally informative, entertaining.
Both.
What do we got? Okay,
both.
Tell me.
I'm a Dallas Cowboy, but like the Chiefs, I have a hard time losing. And that's what this is. That's what this story is about.
That's good.
I bought a vehicle 3.5 years ago, going on 4 years ago, and it has been amazing. And it was the first vehicle in my life that I bought that had hybrid technology.
I love hybrid technology.
Yes.
I'm on my second hybrid.
Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into it because the price at the time was right. Liked the car enough. And with the amount of driving that we do, being able to get 600 miles on a tank that's barely 14 gallons was something that I got a lot of pride from. And
that's amazing.
I am so anal about this kind of stuff that I actually have a gas mileage tracker on my phone that I've been using for like 10 years. And just so you guys know, if your car is used to getting a certain gas mileage and then all of a sudden it's not, that's a good indication that you got something going on. So that's just one of the reasons why I like to track that kind of stuff. And I also just like to see how much money I'm saving versus a normal car or other cars I've owned in the past, because I am a nerd.
Efficiency. You enjoy efficiency.
Yes. And I love being able to get the job done with the least amount of resources used as possible, which is another way of describing what efficiency means.
It is. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But the efficiency came to a screeching halt just the other week when a check engine light came on to my car, and I took it down to my faithful repair shop.
And they gave you this free vest and this hat?
Not exactly.
So you took it to
I
your
did
shop.
time for both of these. Okay, that's a whole nother story. But I took it down there, and they told me straight up it was going to be over $2,000 to get this item repaired.
What?
Yeah, never been hit with a repair bill that high without having a new transmission or a new engine. It's just it. And I come from the car business, guys. This really was tough for me to take. So I came and picked up my car, and I did not have them fix it because I could make the case that the amount of money that they're asking me to repair this vehicle, how much they're asking me to pay, is probably close to or exceeding the amount of money that I have saved over the past 3.5 years on gas compared to the average vehicle.
Sure.
So I really, really had to start thinking about, do I want to realize this loss and essentially look back and realize that the amount of money that I've saved over the years, I really didn't save.
It's kind of like breaking even, is what it sounds like.
What if it
happens again?
Yep, and the car has some miles on it. Nothing that scares me, but it didn't hit 140,000 miles. And then the last thing that gets into your brain that you can't forget is when the guy tells you, I guess he thinks he's comforting me. The normal version of this car that doesn't have the hybrid engine, I do these fixes all the time, and they're a few $100s. But apparently, because you got the hybrid that you chose to buy, it's 5 times that amount. I can't really explain why.
What is this part?
Sign here.
What is this part, man?
Dude, we're literally talking about some kind of gasket or some kind of seal.
He can't get to it or something like that?
Apparently, the labor to get to it is different, harder, worse.
Yeah. I probably have that seal. I could probably do it.
Dude. Listen.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was over the past few weeks, I've continued to drive the car almost in denial.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't give about that light. I was going to say that the light should say, what? When it comes on, because it's so expensive. But maybe the light should, maybe there should be some other sound for that light, like, wah, wah, like who gives a...
I didn't care for a while, and I decided to see what the life of my car could be like post-diagnosis.
Yeah.
And it was weird because honestly, it did pretty well. And then one day it didn't. And the car left me stranded, literally broke down. I had to limp into a random parking lot that, thank goodness,
you were able to limp into it though. That's nice.
I was able to get up in there. And then I came back a couple days later, hopped in the car, and it fired up and took me home like nothing happened. So then I started feeling like I can't die.
It's true. Maybe it's true.
I can't die. So I kept driving the car.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at other cars to possibly get. And it's tough because I really like this freaking car.
It's a good looking car, man.
It does so much for me. Yes.
When I see it on the street, I'm like, there he is. And it's always you.
And car prices are just stupid. I bought this car right before car prices started going crazy. And also in town, the amount of money that it costs for the right to buy a vehicle from every dealership is flying up.
Huh.
Okay? We have administrative fees here that we charge.
Sure.
We just had a hike in our fee for the first time in decades.
$50 as compared to.
But listen, when I first got in the car business, the admin fee was $199. Then it went to $299. Then right before I left, it was $399. These days, less than 5 years later, most admin fees in town are over $1,000 of air that you're buying, and it has it right on there. It's even taxable. You pay sales tax on the admin fee.
While we're here, there's most of the real estate companies are also selling this similar air here in town, and that air is costing sometimes $1,000, sometimes $500, sometimes $700, but our air costs $250.
That's right.
Our air is cheaper.
That's right. That's how you tell me how you're supposed to breathe.
I'm pretty sure I can say that. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Jordan Sparks. We love you.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Okay.
Oh, yes, sir. So listen, so the amount of money that you spend, and then they have these reconditioning things that they do where every car on the lot has gotten this special thing, this like fabric protection and undercoat stuff that you don't get to choose anymore. It happens on every single car, and they'll add another $8,000-$9,000 worth of crap that you didn't get to choose that you wanted. That's just how we do it, and it's getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point where I, as a car guy, I'm scared to buy a damn car.
I was just looking for a place to redo my undercoating.
Seriously?
Hell no, man.
Man, listen. So I've been looking at different options, and nothing is turning me on. Like, it makes the most sense. I can get, it's like, how do I buy down my miles? How do I go from 140,000 miles to something a lot less without breaking the bank?
Yeah.
And nothing was coming to me. So I kept driving the car. And then she broke down on me again. And the same day that she broke down, a Facebook group that I belong to called Underappreciated Survivors for Sale.
I love those posts. Oh, for sale.
That's their sister.
Okay.
Their sister group. One is just Underappreciated Survivor spotted in the wild.
Sure.
And an Underappreciated Survivor is a car that has never had a lot of fanfare. It was just another car that you would see. And then for whatever reason, it was kept in great shape as if it was a car that people gave a damn about, like a Camaro or a Mustang or,
Yeah.
And I've always been impressed by these type of vehicles because anybody can buy a newer vehicle and have it look shiny. But a person that takes care of a vehicle year after year, even a vehicle that other people might say is nothing to really be that crazy about, it struck me. And the post came up and it was a 2004. Yes, 20 years old.
Wow.
The youngest you can be to even have a spot on that page. Had it been in 2005, they would have denied the admission of that post. Anyway.
Is that car compatible with the CD player upgrade?
It does. I was listen.
I'm sorry.
Subaru, Toyota, they were some of the ones that held on to the tape player for a long time.
2004.
2004. Subaru Legacy wagon.
Okay.
Yes.
Man.
And we just got rid of a Legacy. We just upgraded from a Legacy sedan. Monica
My
is
mom
a
had a
big
Legacy. Yeah, taught me about four-wheel drive. First four-wheel drive we ever had, I took it into snow about this deep and I did donuts with my grandparents, my mom, and my stepdad in the car. And I've never seen people over 60 laugh so hard in my life.
That had to have been some of the best fun you ever had that didn't cost nothing.
Oh, yeah, man. And I had so much control. I was like, wow, this is four-wheel drive? Like, there's no chance I'm getting stuck. I can go anywhere I want to. The snow is like up above the bottom of the car.
That's right.
So you're getting a Subaru Legacy wagon.
So what? Well, this car was in Fort Collins, Colorado. Okay. So I had to assemble the Avengers ASAP. So I call Grayling.
Sure. Yeah.
And I say, look, man, I'm going to fly down there and I need you to pick me up from the airport and immediately drive me an hour away to Fort Collins to buy this car. And then we'll double back an hour and some change to get back to his house.
This is an adventure.
And so on Saturday night, I flew to Colorado. I got there at like 11 in the evening. By the time we get to this guy's house to buy that car, it was midnight. And he didn't feel comfortable with holding the car for me until I produced the flight itinerary that I was actually coming. I'm showing him the cash.
Sure.
And I'm doing everything I can because I don't want it to sell.
Yeah.
People are like, man, how come you didn't, you're a salesperson. You didn't try to get him down on the price. You didn't try to do your trick. Listen, people in sales are the biggest laydowns on earth because when we come across something that we see the value, we know the value, we do not play around with it
because we know it will be gone
over a few $100s. If I would have acted as if he owed me anything, he could have eaten. And what happened was I struck first, I struck fast, and I struck hard. But after that happened, we talked about it. People all over the United States were trying to buy this car. There was a company that...
I'm going out to look at this car right now. Is it outside?
It's here.
Okay.
It's here. And so, picked the car, bought the car, drove it to my buddy's house at 1 a.m. 5:30 in the morning, I wake up, drive immediately right back to Topeka, Kansas, and to make it to an enlisting appointment for somebody on my team that had a baby, which was really awesome. So long story short, fun adventure. The car was everything that it was advertised. It drives awesomely. A lot to get used to because there are a lot of creature comforts that we've gotten used to over the years that this car does not have. And I honestly, for what I paid and what I expect to get out of this car, and I still have to sell the other one. That'll be another episode.
Sure.
Sharp car. I'm very happy with the purchase.
Huh. Wow. I mean, we'll just talk about it again later. Okay. I want to know more about this car, but there will be time. Is it a stick shift? I'm sure it's
not a stick.
That
would have been
Subaru wagon with a stick, bro. That's the classic right there.
It would have been over.
Okay, man. Well,
Yeah, literally an old lady.
Congratulations. You know, you're going to appreciate that car. You already love it. It's obvious. You know, you and the car bonded.
Already. We did.
Yeah.
But when I finally send the other car out to pasture, there'll be feelings that will be felt.
I'm just going to mention something that's been working or happening for me. I've been buying a lot of furniture on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, yes.
We're kind of building a body of like some staging material. And we've also been filling up an Airbnb or a short-term rental that we have. And all I do is I go there and I buy something from somebody and I just give them my card because I'm introducing myself. You know? Hey, I just want you to know who's in your house. You know, and then they start asking me real estate questions. And I already had one listing appointment. The lady, she's like, "Oh, really? Would you come on in and look at the house?" And she took me all the way around the house, you know. But it would, I don't want any bad actors to get this idea that you should do something like that because, if somebody comes to your door, you don't really know who they are. They just give you a card and then you trust them and then you take them through your house. That's a little dangerous, folks. Unless it's me. If you show up and if I show up to buy something and it's me, it's fine. Let me in, you know. But we've gotten into some real estate conversations when I stop by these folks' house, and it's pretty cool, you know. Yeah. And I'm having a lot of fun, man. Honestly, I know you like buying stuff on Marketplace. I would love to just buy stuff on Marketplace all day, drive around and pick it up and put it in the back of my truck.
Oh yeah,
you know,
you can do that now.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you went truck, you know, because sometimes you go from hybrid and then you go to truck.
Now, listen, I got my truck is a specific switchblade that I pull out when I need it.
Yes,
I don't need to drive it every day, you know, to overcome or compensate for something that's going on with myself. Wait, sorry, I didn't mean that. Just kidding. But yes, I do have a truck. Good. It's old. And it's been one of the best purchases I've made in the past 5 years, 100%. But to your point, man, listen, what you're really saying is when we talk to people about real estate, whether it's people that we know or new people, there's nothing more electric. There's nothing more that you can do to get people's eyeballs, you know, turning and their head, you know, spinning about what the possibilities might be for their own life or what their aspirations are. I've already called somebody to address the lack of window tint on this Subaru that I got.
Oh yeah,
and it's a guy that I haven't talked to in 6 years.
Yeah,
and I'm supposed to just be asking him about window tint, and we're on the phone for 30 minutes talking about freaking real estate.
Yeah,
talking about how he wants me to buy his house or sell his house for him and all this stuff, and it's just a reminder that we think that, you know, we're bogging people down, or that, you know, the fact that we're in sales when we call, we get insecure about what they're thinking our motivations are when we call and catch up with them. But when we have something that we're actually doing and it's not game, it's not manipulation. I'm literally calling you for window tint. He's literally going to buy a piece of furniture and it's completely earnest. And oh my God, now all of a sudden, we don't mind talking about it. We're having great conversations. And what I'm saying is to other agents out there, just get out of your own head. Don't be afraid to call people about something completely random. If they're thinking about real estate at all, it will come out and your time to shine will be then.
It's very organic. You know, that connection and who you are, they just combine with each other and they get you the results that you're looking for without even trying to be salesy.
Dude.
Salesy is just going to hurt you, you know?
Yes.
So that's a little bit of a home field advantage for agents. We were going to talk a little bit about some homeology here. And I was going to mention a calculation that came from that interaction with her. You know, I was in the garage. I was buying a little table and blue chair, and she asked me about finishing her basement, whether they should finish the basement or not. Wow. And I said, I don't know. Maybe it depends. You know, said a couple of the right things. She said, come down. I said, I'd really have to see it or something like that. She took me down there. So then I came back a week and a half later with calculations about if you sell it without the basement finished, you can get this much. If you finish the basement, you can get this much. If you're doing the work yourself, then you can carve into some of that gain, you know, a lot. But then the extension of the calculation with this gentleman, he's a maintenance guy at a factory here. He can do all this work himself, but he can also go make money at his job. Is he going to come home every day after an 8-hour shift and then work 4 or 8 hours. You can do that, right? You really can, but you're like living in a work zone. It's dusty, Also, like you're slowing yourself down. You're not moving on to the next house. How long is it going to take one guy to finish the basement in working like that? Probably a year. So, well, maybe we should go. Is it worth it to him to do that? Because he could just work overtime at his job and make $60 an hour or $70 an hour or something. So then you have to compare. Well, what if I just work instead and I don't spend time in this work zone, this dusty zone? And is it even money? If it's even money, all right, do we want to just move on right now? Or do we want to finish the basement? Like, what is most worth it to us? Wow. So that I provided them the numbers on paper for that calculation or, that consideration. And I need to give him I need that last piece. I know he's doing that himself, but I need him to know that I'm aware of that too. And that I'm trying to think of it in the same way that he is in case we can further the conversation even more. So that's a little bit of homeology right there. Another piece is right now I have a buyer who is, he was told by a certain credit union that he can get his loan without PMI, which is monthly private mortgage insurance, and is about $57 a month. But this other lender, this credit union, says they'll give him a loan with no monthly private mortgage insurance. So the questions are like, is that real?
Right.
Like, what are the problems with that? How much does that private mortgage insurance cost him even over the course of having it? Are there fees, like hidden fees, that make it even money? Like, is that even really a good deal? Yeah. It's tough to say, and it's, as an agent, it's even hard to, when I have somebody like him who's savvy and is comparing 4 different lenders and putting these closing cost estimates next to them. Sometimes I can't even get all the estimates, because they are even leery that I'm steering them. He asked me yesterday if which ones I get a referral fee from. I said, well, I actually don't get a referral fee from any of them. Yeah. So, and he's
couldn't if I wanted to, because it's against our licensing.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a complicated thing. And I think in a couple of days, I'll have some resolution and I'll know if it really is a good deal, this 15% down loan with no PMI, but it sounds fishy. Does it sound fishy to you? I mean, what are you thinking when?
Well, you just helped out a lot of it. I mean, they're not going to offer this product for somebody that's putting $1 less than 15% down. And we already know that if you can get 20% down, even the regular banks aren't going to charge you any PMI on that, because you're already in it, well enough. So that part of it is something that I didn't really think about, because now we're talking about they're hedging their bets that, in the 5-year time, they'll make enough of, the amount of money that they would have lost, especially with the rapid appreciation. You could make the case that in half the time you would actually get to 80% loan to value. So I don't know. I can't wait to know more. Oh, wait.
I have lender updates right here.
Wow, this is happening in real time.
The lender that I do prefer said that she is able to match the rate. She said she's not sure on the PMI. I asked her how long it would take to pay off the PMI, and that's about 5 years. Okay. So if his PMI is $50 or $60 a month, that's about $3,600, I think. Yeah, $3,600 over the course of 5 years, 60 months. Wow. $60 times 60 months, $3,600. Yeah. So that's what that PMI was going to cost him. So the answer is, like, if they're saying that you're not going to have PMI, but there's a fee, right? If they said you're not going to have PMI, you're going to have a fee, and the fee is going to be $3,000, right? Well, that means that is actually cheaper than having PMI at $60 a month and paying it for 60 months. So that's how you would compare those things. You'd find out if the fee to have no PMI is cheaper than actually having the PMI.
But it's still a bet, because anytime that they're calculating this 80% loan to value situation, they only use what the house is worth at the time that you buy it. they never factor in any kind of appreciation on this. They're literally going off of the pay schedule. If based on the pay schedule, this is when you'll be there in 5 years. But in real life, if we have even half the appreciation that we've had lately, that 5 years could actually be 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, and you having to call the loan company and say, hey, I think I've actually hit 80% loan to value right now. There'll probably have to be a appraisal involved.
That's right.
Which is going to eat up some more of the money. But still, it
can happen. Like if you made a small down payment in the beginning and then we've had a lot of appreciation, you could really gain by doing that. If the window is really small, like 2 years or 3 years or 5 years of paying PMI, then maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't gain ground by doing that, but it's still worth a look. Doesn't happen very often, but the moral of this story is in the end.
Hold up.
The local lender that I sent him to, that I've been trying to get him to send these loan estimate statements from the other companies to, who he's kind of been dealt down. And now they are going to waive the PMI. So now we got the local lender who is going to give the best customer service, giving the same deal as this national credit union.
Ooh.
And it's nice to have a very reliable lender working with the buyer.
And as a quick aside, we do not necessarily poo-poo national lenders or national establishment stuff. We're not saying that Rocket Mortgage is going to screw your loan up and steal money from you. Okay. But what we are saying is that when we're dealing with local lenders, there's usually 2 or 3 loan officers that work under that bank. And we know all of them and we see them out in the community and there's no escaping us. When you hook up with a national lender, there are thousands of people in that position that could live in any amount of states. And we all love it when you're working with one individual at a corporation. And then all of a sudden you get the email that says, hey, I know you've been working with Todd for the last 3 weeks and you told him all the stuff that you want us to know on this deal, but you'll never talk to Todd again. It's me now. And I'm going on vacation for a week, and you'll get a bounce back email that you weren't even ready for. Like, this is what we're talking about, the difference in customer service. And to know that a bank can waive fees and actually deviate from their so-called proposals makes them more like car dealers than you actually realize. There are things that can be moved around if you're willing to compare shopping, which leads me to my next question.
That's right.
How often, because this guy's a veteran, he's been doing this for more than a decade, going on 2 decades. Mm-hmm. What percentage of buyers would you say actually take the time to get multiple approvals, not just call and see what the rates are at different banks, but I'm going to let you run my credit and let you give me the best deal possible. I'm going to line them all up on a spreadsheet and see what works the best for me. What percentage of clients are actually doing what he did?
If I were to use my calculations and I'd take amortization times appreciation divided by days on market, I'd say very, very low percentage of people.
Like less than 5?
Oh, less than 5 for sure. Like most of the time, people are just asking for who the lender will be. And you send them to a couple places and you give them options, because we always give them options. We don't say, go to this person, they'll take care of you. We say them, or them, right? And then they go to one of them and then they just do it.
The first one that talks nice to them or responds.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why when you're dealing with internet leads of the public, the rule has always been the first one to respond is going to be the one that gets the business.
Yeah.
And it's just so true. And I guess what I would say, guys, is to the agents out there and to the consumers that are watching this, I know that there is trepidation from getting your credit pulled multiple times, but we've said this on this show. You can Google it yourself. The credit bureaus do not want to penalize you for having the nerve to see about getting a better interest rate. And so that's why there is a window, and the window is debatable. It could be 30 days. It could be 45 days. There is a window in which
I think it's 2 weeks.
And I can tell you that, hey, if you just call 3 or 4 different banks in the same week, whatever consequence to your credit score is going to happen from that hard inquiry will not be multiplied by 3 or 4. It'll happen that one time. And the credit bureaus have been trained to understand what is happening here, so you don't get penalized for trying to get a better rate. That's the biggest thing. And people who have had bad credit in the past, they are so sensitive to hard credit inquiries, almost too sensitive about something that might change your credit score by 6 or 7 points. when there are other things that are really truly more consequential. So please shop around, because here's the deal. You don't even have to be Mr. or Mrs. Try to get them down over the phone or play hardball. When you say, hey, I love how you've been treating me. I love your proposal. I'd love to go with it, but I'm sitting here looking at another proposal that my wife would divorce me if I didn't go this route. And I understand that there's nothing that you can do. Oh, there is something you can do. Oh, you want to see the proposal and see how you can beat it? I'll send it right over. And without even having to be salesy or without having to be threatening, you just put the ball in their court and say, what would you do if you were me and you were looking at these two proposals? And then all of a sudden, maybe that proposal that you thought was a little bit weaker gets a little bit stronger because of manager intervention or whatever. At the end of the day, these banks are competing. And if they know, and guess what, guys? The bank is looking at your credit. They can see that you've been competing. So you think they're not looking at that? If a loan officer gets your credit inquiry and they see the only hard inquiry is the one that they did, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable in what they propose to you versus the one that sees, oh my God, they've already been to 3 other places. I got to get my pencil sharp now. I don't have time to do my third best option, my second best option. I need to call my manager and say, what do we got to do to get this guy to stop shopping right now? You're only helping yourselves, guys. Sorry to get so passionate, but
wow. I mean, dude,
what else is there to say?
I think I even learned something there, just kind of thinking about the perspective of the loan officer, right? Because we do have people that we work with regularly, and it's almost like my thought was like, well, I'm kind of, helping deal that person down, which, which is part of my job too, right? I'm there to work for the client, right?
Yes, right.
So it's definitely good to provide them with options for savings. And it's probably a good idea to streamline the comparison process too, so that the local lenders that we work with here, know that buyers are shopping with, they should get the best deal immediately, but we're always trying to make sure that, it's good for everybody to make money, like if everybody was dealing everybody down around every single corner, then there is a point of diminishing returns where it's kind of like, well, now the local lender isn't going to give us as good a customer service because it's not as sweet of a deal, maybe, or, and really where I just came up with that was thinking about a plumber. Or, thinking about an electrician. And if every time I call the electrician, I'm like, yeah, but can you use the cheaper screws? But yeah, or could you cut out the putting down the grass seed? Or could you do that? It does lower the level of customer service too. So what I'm saying is I think there's probably a balance in there, going for absolutely the best rate or the lowest closing cost at every single moment. That's good too. I bet it's a happy medium, just kind of like everything else in life. It's like a happy medium, not necessarily the cheapest deal, but not the most expensive deal. And I think,
here's another thing that I think you're trying to say, is that when I'm not comparing, and I'm asking for a better deal, I'm looking you in the face and saying, I want you to make a sale, but I don't want you to make that much money. In fact, I want you to make as little money as possible because maybe I'll make it up sometime in the end. And it's hard not to take that personally as the person who's trying to put that deal together. But coming from a guy from the car business, if I wanted to make the guy at the desk realize that we better stop messing around with this customer, I get right on the internet and say, hey, man, as soon as he leaves here, he's going to Kansas City. He's looking at the 2 of the exact same models. And how they're advertising up there. How cutthroat they are. And then all of a sudden, it's no longer about dealing me down. It's about putting that person in the client's shoes and offering them a solution that would make them not want to shop any longer. And so just psychologically, when you do that, that's the best way to get somebody down without hurting their feelings or getting emotions involved.
Yeah.
And if they tell you, hey, man, that's a great deal, I can't touch it, good luck. It is what it is.
In this scenario,
you better buy it.
with the 2 local lenders that I'm working with, they've already told me that twice. Both of them like, oh, that's a better deal. I can't really do that. Oh, that's a better deal. I can't really do that. And then now this particular one is doing it. So that's important to note.
Without a lot of beatdown.
It wasn't malicious in any way. There's balance. Now, also, I'm not doing all of this work. I'm not the one, because it is work. First of all, the buyer actually has to submit all his information and go through the application process with all these different lenders. And this guy is able to do that while he's at work. Like, I've been doing a lot of the work with him throughout the day. He's, in the middle of the day. So I think that he's allocating a lot of time to making these applications, and it's probably going to pay off for him, So it's a team effort. It's the lender, it's the buyer, it's the agent. The agent can't do all of that for you because there's a huge piece where you have to submit all of your information to the lenders and sign documents and stuff like that. And just know that that's what realtors are balancing all the time. This is a conversation that we don't even have more than 5% of the time, right? That's the beginning of this question here. But if we do, man, what a litany of things to consider. And this is what a real estate agent is considering with the plumbing, with the electrical, with your home search, with where you work and the home that you're buying, with the insurance, if they get involved with the insurance, if there's any kind of an issue. This job is humongous in breadth of responsibilities and consideration. So make sure that you're using somebody that you can trust and has people that they trust to advise you throughout the process.
That's right. My mama told me, you better shop around.
Okay, full house section. I have a question for you. You are a flipper, remodeler type of guy, buy and hold investor, okay? Yeah. If you were to buy a house and it had 3 bedrooms on the main floor, the possibility of a 4th bedroom in the basement, but all 3 bedrooms on the main floor were relatively small. Small with one tiny, okay? Then let's say it's a ranch style house. On this side, you've got 2 bedrooms. You got small, tiny. And on this side, you've got primary bedroom with bathroom, also small.
Oh, wait, so there's 2 bathrooms?
Yes.
On the main?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
But I get they're both probably on the same side, right?
Sure.
Because the plumbing backs up to each other, right?
9 times out of 10.
So tiny bedroom right here, small one here, small one here, right? You could combine these two and have a big honking huge primary bedroom with a bathroom, right? You could even expand that bathroom. This is not an affluent neighborhood, right? It's probably going to be out of character for the rest of the houses there. Or you could leave this small bedroom with the primary bathroom over here. It's a full bathroom. And you could combine these 2 bedrooms, the small and the super tiny one. What do? Do you combine the super tiny and the small and then have a room that's bigger than the primary bedroom? Primary bedroom has a bathroom. Everybody's going to be like, why doesn't this one have a bathroom? This one should be the primary. And then it's also like, well, why do we just have 2 bedrooms? Well, because you have to make one in the basement. You make a bedroom down there. Like, is it just too weird to do the work? Do you just leave it the same? You're just knocking out a wall right here. You're just knocking out a closet and a wall right here.
Well, listen, this is a tough question.
It is.
Because on one hand, if we're just knocking out a wall and it's not that big of a deal, well, then let the new buyers who happen to need that layout do that. Might just make it so clean that it would be so easy for any good agent to say, well, I know you wanted this layout and this would be very easy to do. And I don't want to change the premise, but what's happening in real life is I have a guy who I helped buy an investment house at a certain price. And the problem with this house was it was old enough that even though the rooms are decent size, there was no primary bathroom. And I let him know that if he wanted to make the money that I knew he wanted to make, the primary bathroom was going to be a huge thing. And that if we couldn't modify the house to allow that, to where it was 3 bedrooms and 1 bath on the main, and then downstairs it's a nice bathroom with only 1 bedroom, that layout was going to cause problems for him, because everywhere that he wanted to be, even lesser homes that just happened to be a little newer, had that primary. It would be 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on the main, and then the basement would be maybe unfinished. That's literally 5 times more desirable than what I'm describing to you. Well, he gets the house. Him and his contractor start talking, and then all of a sudden he comes to me and says, yeah, man, we're not doing the other bathroom. We're keeping it how it is. I'm going to get another bedroom in the basement, because bedrooms are worth so much money. Guys, not necessarily the case. Difference between a 4-bedroom and a 6-bedroom. And equally
is the we don't want the 6-bedroom.
Yeah,
too many walls.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a song, by the way. But anyway, too many walls. So yeah, he didn't do what I asked him to do. Now I'm showing him the comps, and he's not liking what he's seeing because everything that's laid out like he's doing with no primary is not selling and selling for much less, while the house is where he needs to be. If he would have, and all he would have had to have done was change it from a 3-bedroom on the main to sacrificing one of the lesser bedrooms.
2-bedroom on the main.
And then now all of a sudden you're going to get 2 things out of this. Because the bedroom is big enough for a bathroom and a large closet to go in place of the bedroom.
Yeah.
So now I could have got a primary and a large closet, which is what everybody wants now in the newer houses.
Yeah.
It's not just a primary bathroom, but you got to have decent closet space for everybody. He could have done that.
To be honest, that's how you feel rich, man. Like even if your house is not that great, but if you have a primary bedroom that has a huge closet for all your stuff, and you have a primary bathroom that's like spacious, you wake up every day and you feel rich. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Is that an illusion? Am I just knowing what it's like to not be rich? And then, you know what I mean? And I'm not even rich, but once I got that, once I had a ample closet space, and once I had a bathroom connected to the bedroom that my wife let me go inside of, then I felt so much better about my life, Like, is that just because I'm a real estate agent?
No, those are real goals. I mean, let's be real. Once we graduated to life where we didn't have to put the dang cereal boxes on top of the fridge anymore. Yeah. Even that was an upgrade. Like, wow, there's a place that these are supposed to go in a cabinet. What's a pantry? So all those little things definitely add up to feeling like you made it in life. But we're gonna see what happens. I'm not even sure if this guy's gonna hire me.
Yeah.
And I'm putting this on video. I'm okay if you don't. Love you, brother. But if somebody sweet talks you into believing that what you did is worth more and they're willing to put it out there, by all means, make it happen, because I am not going to change my pricing schedule and how I feel to gain this business. Everything isn't always worth competing for.
Not that you're inflexible, but you have a very valid point of view about what makes a house desirable. And, once you start just doing anything you can to get a chance, then that's when you start to look bad. Like nobody is going to know about that conversation that you had. People are only going to know about the bad marketing that you did with the wrong price on the wrong house.
Bingo. And to me, it just ain't worth it. I love the guy and I love, but he's been a little know-it-all-ish with me.
We're basically in the same conversation still. And you remember that house that I listed on Harvey a long time ago that Carl did. That's the same thing that we did in there. We took 2 bedrooms and we made a super suite. Okay. In this, this is who I'm talking about right now, and a property that actually your wife sent to me and said this would be a good flip. So this situation with creating this bigger bedroom and then still having the primary bedroom with the bathroom over here, is that weird? Does it end up being like the second living room or the den on the main floor? It's weird, right? Your face looks like it's weird.
Here's what happened. I think we've seen nice homes that have primary ensuite bathrooms and masters or whatever you want to call them. And you can tell that it was a time when multiple children were expected to be in the same room. So you would have a secondary room that was not the master, that had great size, 2 smaller closets, right? And we're not seeing that anymore. We're not seeing that layout of here's a big room that 2-3 kids can live in is not appealing to people like it used to be.
Is it not appealing, or does it not exist?
I have to listen. We know that the people that, the construction guys, they're not giving us what they want to give us. They're giving us what we want Otherwise, they're going to lose out to the builder that is giving people what they want. So I don't think we've ever really been force fed anything. The quality, we can talk about the waning quality, but as far as layouts, there's some science to it. They know what people want. They're looking at all the different. What do you call it? Questionnaires and stuff that they do for people. And I think they're giving us what we want. I really do.
Didn't we just vote to make America share bedrooms again? Anyway, Neil, is there anything that you think you want us to talk about on the home plate or home stretch?
How we could share some actual facts on PMI.
Actual facts. Like what PMI is? Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, just so like
you're right. We just talking as if people understand why it is and what it is.
So PMI is typically required if your down payment is less than 20% on a conventional loan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Dive into that a little deeper.
Okay.
You can request cancellation of the PMI once you hit the 20%. Your lender must cancel PMI when it hits 78%.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if they must cancel it if you're the PMI when you're halfway through your loan's term if you haven't hit the.
Really?
Yeah, either one.
Wow.
But
Okay.
Then a step further, so it says PMI is not required for loans like USDA or VA. Which I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one?
FHA loans. Monthly PMI.
Bro, are we doing a whole nother podcast here? Jesus, like, hold on. Cancel all my appointments. That's all right. Yeah.
FHA has MIP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
not minor in possession. But
they have
insurance premium.
Yeah.
Upfront mortgage insurance premium. Yeah.
They have both.
Yeah, they do.
They have it can be a one-time fee paid at closing or
a
loan.
And some of it has to do with how much money you put down.
So if you put down 10% or more, you'll pay MIP for 11 years. If you put down less than 10%, it's for the life of the loan.
Dang. Actually, yeah.
So it sounds like on FHA loans, that's a great reason to graduate from those loans at some point.
Yeah, because mortgage insurance for the life of the loan, that shouldn't be. That's too much. First of all, guys, PMI or mortgage insurance, that is not insurance for you. Mortgage insurance is insurance for the bank. This is you paying monthly insurance just in case you get foreclosed on, then the bank still gets paid. That's what mortgage insurance is. So don't think that you are insuring yourself in some way. You're insuring all of us, like the rest of the world and everybody that depends on the banking system, but that's also what's created the mortgage crisis, because there was a bunch of mortgage insurance that was out there that couldn't cover everybody that got foreclosed on. So we have a huge injury that happened to our economy that has probably made mortgage insurance more expensive than it was before even. But it's also made it better regulated so that it won't collapse again. And we need to hope that this regulation continues to exist so that mortgage-backed securities don't get out of hand like they did before and ruin everything. Because don't make no mistake, that did ruin everything. That's in real estate. It ruined everybody's wealth.
And so, guys, when it comes to interest and it comes to banks, everything is based on risk, which is exactly why when a bank starts telling you how cheap they can get your loan, your percentages and everything down to without running your credit, be very, very careful, because they're giving you a best case scenario when there are probably 10 different tiers of credit risk for each bank. Based on your credit score, how much liquidity you have. There are so many things that go into how much risk you have with the bank. And the less risky the loan, the less it costs the bank to actually do it, which is probably one of the reasons why your buddy who you've been talking about, who was actually comparing, if he was a lower risk, credit client,
score person.
Yeah. They probably will have more flexibility than with somebody who was much higher risk, who they're barely able to fit in a category of an insurable loan.
One of them actually told me that because he was right on the fringe. said if his score was like this much higher, then they'd have a lot more options, you know?
So guys, exactly. So the ability to get mortgage insurance out of the picture has been something that savvy people that have high liquidity and have money that they could park here, they could park there. And it's a question, do I want to pay more right now to get that out of the way and never have to worry about it versus putting that money to somewhere else? How much is that money going to make me versus how much the PMI would be for another 10, 5, whatever years, or forever if it's an FHA loan?
Back to how it plays out in the real world is that this insurance is so that the bank can actually take the house back. When they foreclose on the house, the reason that they want you to be where you have 80% loan balance or less, loan to value, so 20% equity in that house, is that 20%, that's how much it's going to cost them to take that house back from you and then get their money back by selling it. It's going to cost them that money in legal fees. It's going to cost them that money in time. It's going to cost them that money in damages that whoever had that house and had a really bad situation going on and, you know, destroyed the house, made it dirty, kicked holes in the walls, let stuff leak because they couldn't pay to paint the house or put a new roof on it and that kind of thing. So that's what mortgage insurance is all about. It's a necessary evil. I don't even know if it's an evil, but it needs to be there to prop up our real estate market. But that's why they want you putting down 20% or more. And if you can't put down 20%, you need to pay insurance sort of on that gap. I guess it's like gap insurance with a car.
It's 100% that way. And what I'll also say is that as an investor, I'm trying to be like the banks. If I want, my goal in every one of my investment properties is to be at 80% of the value of that house and my all-in commitment to that house or less. Anything higher than that is going to put me in a position of inflexibility to where if something changes with the market and I have to dump it, the chances of me getting out of it go a lot harder once I'm above that. So my comfort zone is exactly where the bank's comfort zone is, because I want to use the savviness of, you know, being my own general contractor and in some cases being my own handy person who's actually doing some of this and turn it into equity that allows me to escape if I ever need to, or turn it into cold hard cash that's going to fund the next deal. Okay. So if I can, it's all about how I can get into that house.
Conventional loan, you pay mortgage insurance every month. You don't have any mortgage insurance lump sum up front. FHA loan, you're going to pay mortgage insurance every month, and you're going to have an upfront piece of mortgage insurance that they tack on to the top of your loan. VA, you're going to pay a funding fee, which is like mortgage insurance. You're not going to pay monthly mortgage insurance at all. You're going to have a 0% down payment, most likely. Sometimes that funding fee can be waived if you have a disability rating or something like that.
Or you're actually putting money down.
Yeah. If you're on your second VA loan or your third VA loan, that funding fee is a higher percentage than it is otherwise. USDA, I'm assuming that, I mean, you get a 0% down payment. I'm assuming that USDA is funding this mortgage insurance somehow. I don't exactly know how that one works. It doesn't happen very often. What am I leaving out? Did I miss a loan?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you hit it on the head. It was a great thing to come back to. Seriously.
Neil, thanks for bringing us back home again.
One short thing.
Yeah.
I think I figured out why people feel comfortable letting you just walk into their house when you show up to buy stuff.
What is it?
It's because you kind of remind people of the character Russell from the movie Up.
Is that the evil real estate agent?
No, it's the little kid.
Oh, nice. All right. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, we ain't gonna beat that. I think we're done here, right?
We are. We appreciate you guys coming to see us, meet with us here at
Hangin'
with the Homeboys.
See you next time.
Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Peace.